Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Hey, we're going to start. It's recording, so we'll just send out the link to anybody that couldn't watch it tonight. And I know some of you have been to this meeting a couple times. There will be nothing new in this meeting. So it's same old, same old. So if you've been here before, not a lot of new information. We are hoping to go to Europe next summer. It will have been like will have entirely skipped one rotation of the Europe trip due to the cancellations that we have. But we're just going to move forward again with hope, and I hope that it works to go next summer. This information page that was attached. Oh, that's weird. I'm not going to read everything on it because that's something you can read. So I'll just talk about a few things, and then any questions that you have specifically, we can talk about questions like that. The date that is on the paper is listed as July 13th to August 3rd. That's 3 full weeks, a Thursday to a Thursday. And that is based on our guess of when the festivals will be. They usually don't post the festival dates until the first of the year. Last year, I think they posted in December. So we'll just keep watching for those dates. And once they're posted, then we can finalize our travel dates. For those associated with BYU Idaho campus, it's a trickier date because it is the next to last week of the semester. So it's a harder time for anybody that's faculty at BYU Idaho to leave that earlier week. And they moved the Prague Festival up a week from when it was held the last time we went. The big question always is, what is the cost? And at this point, the estimate that we've put is our best guess. It's our best guess. I've been online looking at all of the costs, the hotels and buses and airfare. And we can't even get a good price for airfare on those dates. Some of the airlines aren't that far out from where we are with their pricing. And then we don't know what a group pricing will be. There are, if you are part of a group like a Fly From Home group or Thrifty Travelers or things like that, there are a lot of flash sales that I've seen popping up on mine for really awesome prices right now to Europe. But the ones I've seen only go through the spring. I haven't seen anything into the summers yet. But I do tell you to start watching for prices, or if you have miles or anything else to use. We cannot get a super great price like a web flash price for a whole group. So if that's something you want to watch for and book yourselves, you are really welcome to do that. We won't know our group rate until we know how many we have in our group rate. Airlines won't even give us an estimate anymore for a group rate until we tell them exactly what our number will be. They make us start with a contract. They don't do estimates anymore. So these are our best guesses. It goes up. What I've learned is about every year goes up about 100 years from a year past. So this is going up. The advantage right now is that the euro and the British pound are at all-time lows for the exchange rate. And ever since I've been working with traveling, they've never been as low as they are right now. The British pound is about $1. It's going between $1.05 and $1.09. The highest that we went one year was $1.99. So it was almost 2 to 1 at one point, and now it's 1 to 1. And that makes a huge difference because everything that we pay for, we pay in the foreign currency. So the lower the exchange rate, the better it is for our pricing. The euro is also at an all-time low. The hard thing is there's no guarantee that it will still be low when we are there, but we will just keep watching it. It may go up a little bit, but I don't think it will skyrocket. I'm hoping that it won't skyrocket, that it will stay low. That affects everything we do outside of airfare. The only thing we pay for in US dollars is the airfare. Everything else will be in the European currencies. So having this great exchange rate is hopeful. And then we can be on the lower end of our estimate. Our itinerary, what we're looking at, is slightly than the order that we went before. We this year are planning to fly from Salt Lake to Prague and start with the Prague days, the Prague weekend, doing the festival there. And then from there, we would travel through Munich and go through Salzburg and Vienna. And I would like to just do an afternoon in Bratislava, Slovenia. It's just a darling, quaint little town, and it's kind of right there on the way to Budapest, Hungary. Then we would spend a weekend in Hungary doing a festival there. At the festivals, there are 2 performances, and we in a festival hotel. It includes an evening meal and a breakfast, and there's just a price that we pay per participant, and then it's the same price that we would pay per guest. They call any family members guests as well, so it's the same price for participants and guests to stay in the festival hotels and do that, participate in those festivals. Then from Hungary, we will fly to Paris and do 3 days in Paris and just hitting the highlights there. From Paris, we will fly to Manchester, England, and do Preston, England, and a church historical tour in England, and then travel from Manchester or from the Preston area south to London, go through Warwick Castle, and possibly stop at Stratford upon Avon, Shakespeare Town, depending on our time frame. Other performances we would like to do outside of those 2 festivals, we would like to put one together in Munich. Last time we were in Munich, we were able to have a family night with the English speaking ward in Munich, and it was really a delightful experience. We got to perform for them and do a little workshop with them, and they hosted a huge dinner for us. So we hope that will be the case. It's a new bishop there now, so I hope we can have the same good relationship with the new bishop as with the previous bishop there. In Paris, I'd like to be able to do a performance with a local youth group as well. One of our IBA moms is a native of France, and she has offered to help find a venue and kind of put together a performance workshop kind of experience in Paris as well. And then hopefully also again in the Preston, Manchester area, we would like to do a group activity or performance. When we will be there, probably, they don't have their exact dates, but the British church, what are they called? Pageant. The British pageant will probably be on when we're there. I don't know if it will be the week there we are there or the week after, but I would love to go to that if it is a week a day that we're there. Last year when we were there, it was their dress rehearsal, and I asked about being able to go to that, and they don't allow any spectators at their dress rehearsal. But our tour guide in Preston is involved in the British Festival, so he's going to keep us updated on if that would be a possibility to go. There are no pageants hardly anywhere in the world, but the British pageant was allowed to continue. So I think that would be a fun experience to be able to do that. And then our last 4 days are in London itself. We will just do the city highlights in London, and I think it's fun right now. It'll be big in the worldwide news with the passing of Queen Elizabeth. The coronation of King Charles has been set for May, so that will have just happened shortly before. I'm sure there will be a lot of memorabilia there from the coronation, so I think it will be an exciting summer to be in London. For the cost of the trip, we break it into several payments. The first deposit is due November 15th, so that is 1 month. So 1 month from now, for you to talk and decide if this is something that you want to do in your families. We will do a deposit, and that helps us pay the deposit for the flights. That first deposit goes toward that. And then we've split it up into every 2 months, there will be a payment, January, March, and May, when we'll be 60 days out. Those payments will be spread out. And once we have a better idea of the price, that very last payment, we will adjust to make it match whatever our total price ends up being at that time. Okay, questions to this point? That's just kind of the bare bones of what the trip is. I didn't even talk about why it's so awesome to go. I'm just giving you kind of the facts.
Janie, just where is that paper at? I don't know that I've seen the document. Was that sent banned?
It was attached to the October newsletter.
Okay, I'll have to go find that.
And I'll send it out again on a follow-up email from this meeting that will have the link to this recording, and I'll attach that document as well to that. So it outlines everything I just talked about. It outlines that, and then it has a page of frequently asked questions. And I'll just quickly go over some of those. Who is eligible to go? And it stands for 9th grade through the 12th grade. So those who are in 9th grade this year through 12th grade. We have had younger siblings go, and it just kind of depends. Some have gone as a dancer. Like my Michael went when he had just finished 8th grade. Is that right? He just walked in from pickleball. He went as an 8th grader because he had 2 siblings going. So it was just the best year for him to go as a dancer that year. And can parents go? Yes. We hope you will consider going together if financially that's an option for you. It is such a wonderful experience to have that shared experience and then to have those shared memories for the rest of your life. If it's possible, we encourage you to go. We have had aunts and uncles and cousins and grandmas and grandpas and friends go. So if you want to gather people who want to go, that'd be great. We have one mom that said she's going whether her dancer goes or not, bringing her mom and her sisters. So I know they're coming whether their dancer goes or not. So we are happy to have anybody go, because I think it just feels easier to go with a group than to try and take it on yourself. And I think that's why a lot of people go on this trip, that you want to go to Europe, but you don't want to take it on yourself. And so come with us. When is it? One of the practices for the dancers. We will have 6 weeks of practice, which will be June and the first 2 weeks of July. We will not practice in May. We thought before we could practice in May after the concert was done, but May is too crazy for everyone. It was just impossible to have a practice schedule in May. So the practices will be in June. So dancers would need to make themselves available for the practices. And we found really the best time was early morning or late night to try and make it possible for dancers to come around their work schedules. So we would probably do that model again of having early morning or late night practices. How much does it cost? We did that. Passport, do we need a passport? Yes, with capital yes, you must have a passport to travel outside of the country. And if you are considering going and don't have a passport, we encourage you to start applying for your passport. Now, I have never had trouble with a passport coming, but some people say it took 4 months to get my passport. It's never taken, when I've renewed, it's never taken a passport more than 6 weeks to come. But I know that's not the case. There are those outlier cases, so it is best to not leave it until the end. You can pay big bucks and get an expedited passport. You can pay $600 and get a passport in a week, but we don't want that to be the case. If you have a passport already, you need to check the expiration date. Germany is very strict with their entry, and they will not accept entry from a passport that will expire within 9 months. So your passport must be valid for 9 months past our trip. We know this just because last time we went, we had a father who at the Salt Lake Airport was not allowed to get on the flight with us because his passport expired in 3 months out, which we all thought was fine. He had even asked me about it and I told him it was fine. And I was wrong about that. So he had to fly to Seattle and walk through an expedited passport service. And then he joined us 3 days later once he could catch up to us after getting his passport. So now we just try and make sure that you all have a passport that is good for those 9 months out. Meals, how much do meals cost? If you're sending your dancer alone without you, you need to make sure that you budget for the meals, which I would say bare minimum really is $20 a day. Breakfast will all be included at the hotels. And then there's fast food everywhere will be. They can eat at McDonald's or Burger King every day if that's what they choose. Or they can eat local cuisine, pizza or crepes or anything else. But really, I think about $10 a meal is a safe estimate for eating, quick fast food. Some people get food at grocery stores, get cheese and bread and yogurts and things, and that is fine, but that's not much cheaper really to do it that way. hotels. How do we assign hotel rooms? Every hotel we stay in has a little bit different configuration of how many their rooms hold. The Paris Hotel, they're all just double rooms, just 2 people in a room. We can get adjoining rooms for groups. You know, if you have a family group, more than 2, you can get an adjoining room, but we can't stick 6 people in a room in the Paris Hotel. Then in the Prague Hotel, they had different sizes rooms from 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. That's different, as well as our London Hotel, mainly doubles, some triples, some quads. So we just kind of lay out the list of who needs to be together in rooms. We try and make it like where there are quads, we try to use those because those are always the least expensive. So if you are coming like a mom and a daughter dancer, we would try and put you with another mom and daughter dancer in a room to share that. And if you want to come, like parents are coming and you want to stay with your dancer or dancers together, we will try and make those accommodations. We'll talk to everybody and try to ascertain what you prefer for your hotel stays with that. We know some dancers like to just stay with other dancers and the parents want to be by themselves, and some are not that way. So we will just work with each of you individually to figure that out. Okay. I think I've super quickly covered everything on this paper without telling you, like, please come, because I think this is such a great experience. And if anybody who's on here, Erin's traveled before with us, or Krista, you're on there. If you want to just throw in your endorsement, you are welcome to do that. We believe a lot in travel, especially having raised a family in Rexburg. I think it's been so beneficial for our children to get out of Dodge and see what is going on in the rest of the world. I think it's enlarging and it can be life-changing. I think it's just so expanding for our views. One, to meet people, and I think to find out there are nice and great people all over the world. That is really one of my favorite parts, is to meet people all over the world and to expand our historical context. When we are so excited about our tabernacle here that's 100 years old, and then to visit castles or cathedrals that are 1,000 years old. I just think that's so good for all of us to have that expansive historical view taken care of. And it's fun to go and dance. It's fun to say, I danced in Europe. And I think that's a lifelong thing that you can have, like a badge of honor, that's something super cool that you did as a dancer when you were young. Okay, I think that's it for what I need to say. Anything else that you want to add or ask?
So in Vienna, we're doing a festival in Vienna, is that correct?
No, the 2 festivals we do will be in Prague and then in Budapest.
Okay.
Vienna, we will just go through, we'll just probably spend 1 night only in Vienna and just hit some highlights in Vienna. It will be en route between Munich and Budapest.
Okay. We have girls in Switzerland from the International Folk Dance Festival that are there. So we communicate with them still regularly.
Oh, very fun.
Some of them are in Vienna and Austria. So I can send them a message too, and just, that would be fun.
We have had, and I can't remember who it was, some of you might remember who it was. We have had families that have met up with exchange students or kids that they've hosted from the folk festivals. And that's always a really sweet experience for them. Just reminds me, that just made me think, if you want to expand your trip beyond our dates, that is totally fine as well. If you want to go early and then just meet us in Prague, or stay after from London after we leave and stay, I think it's a great idea if you've got the time and resources to do that, because a large chunk of the cost is that airfare. So once you get there, if you've got additional time, I think it's great to be able to do that. We've had families stay and go all over the place. They've gone to Scandinavia, Ireland, Scotland, to Rome, just back to the continent. So anything like that is great. I'll just plug Rome. We went to Rome this summer for the first time. I've never been there. And I was so wowed by Rome. Rome's high on my list now, and it never had been high on my list before. We went because we were scheduled to go there after this year's Europe trip. That didn't happen. We were going to go to the German Open competition and then Rome. And so we still went because I had tickets to the Passion Play that I've had for 3 years, and we did that. And it was super awesome. So Rome is a great addition to do that, to go spend a couple days in Rome or 2 or 3 days in Rome. It's an easy travel from London where we'll be. And those who are traveling with like parents and dancers, we give you flexibility. If there are things that you want to do that are not on our itinerary, you are welcome to do that. If you say, hey, today we are going to go do this, that is great. And if you know ahead of time that there are things on our schedule that you don't want to do, we can work it so that we don't buy, group entry tickets for you to whatever it is that we are doing that day if you want to do something different. I know some of you have asked me about, can we do this excursion and that excursion? You are welcome to do those kind of excursions when you're there with your kids. Kids who are going alone with us, they will be doing what the whole group does. And we divvy out our sheep, our orphans who are there without parents, to shepherds, other parents, to keep track of them. And they will need to always be doing what we are doing with the group. We had last time a friend come with a dancer, and there were no parents with them, and that did not go well. So we do have the policy that if your dancer is coming, they don't bring anyone else if you are not coming with them. We're not having any friend tag-alongs without a parent to oversee that. We just learn all these things by experience. So we add rules as we go, as we need to. Okay. Any other questions or comments, Erin?
Will there be an all-night bus ride this year?
No.
Okay.
That is why we are flying from Budapest to Paris.
Okay.
Because that was so truly awful last year.
Yes.
It looked really good on paper, but it didn't turn out that way. So,
yes. But I do want to add that our kids still talk about that trip, and it was a life-changing thing for them. So
yeah, our kids too. They talk a lot about that, the significance that has had for them. Thanks. If you have someone that needs to meet you partway through, like someone that can't come the full 3 weeks, but you say, but they want to come, for the week that we're in England, that's totally fine. We are all about flexibility. And so those things can all be worked out. We are not locked into a cookie cutter trip because we plan all ourselves, which it is crazy to do that. It is super crazy to do that, but it allows us control over doing things like that, having people come and go from our tour as needed, and lets us control the cost completely. I just hate the idea of paying other people a lot of money to do what we could do. So I will just tell you that the money you pay, I consider sacred. To be a steward over your money. And so, wow. So I try so hard to get the best value that we can for all this money, because I know it's expensive. This is a lot of money to spend on something like this. And so truly, we try to get the most bang for your buck that you are paying for this. And you will come home exhausted from this trip, because it's not a vacation. I don't think of it that you're going to go on vacation. It is a tour trip, and every day we hit the ground running, and we go all day hard so that we can get as much done in those days. I mean, you could spend a whole summer in Europe, really. And I've talked to Erin a couple of times, like, oh, we could just jump over to Spain. That'd be fabulous. And Italy's right there, and there's so much to do. So I'm just trying to say, we are going to take 3 weeks, which is a long time out of the summer, and it costs a lot of money, but we are going to get as much done in those 3 weeks as we possibly can, because I feel like for most people, this is a one-time thing in a lifetime to go do this. And so I really want to give you the best experience possible. in our 3 weeks that we spend there.
So one last question. You said you sent it in the October newsletter. When did you send the October newsletter? I cannot find it at all in my email.
It was like October 6th-ish.
Okay.
I'm on Sean's computer, so I don't have mine in front of me.
Okay.
But I'll resend it, Carolyn. If you text me and remind me, I will resend that to you.
Okay. Deborah said she didn't get it either, and Jamie said she didn't get it either.
Did anybody get the newsletter? Huh. I know a lot of you did because several have asked about the Europe meeting, and that's when it was. Teresa got it.
Okay.
I will do a resend. I don't have an answer. I don't know what happened. So I will do a resend. I actually had a lot of info in it. So it's good to know that you didn't get it. So I'll resend
Okay, thank you.
right after this. So did you only hear about this meeting on the band thing tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, good for you. You just really heard about it and got on. I'm impressed.
That's why we're in bed. So
Where we'd all like to be.
right.
Oh, are some people sending a chat? Oh,
Yeah,
Brittany,
there's several.
I did not have that chat window open. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me go back and read. I'm so sorry. I did not see. No, oh, Erin, I answered yours. Deborah, the dates are July 13th to August 3rd. It's a Thursday to a Thursday. So we would leave on a Thursday from Salt Lake City and we would arrive in Prague on Friday. We arrive next day. We arrive in Prague on Friday, July 14th. And then we will leave London on the morning of August 3rd and we'll arrive in Salt Lake on the evening of August 3rd. We'll gain those 8 hours back. There's an 8-hour difference. And Jennifer's, it was sent October 7th. So some of you got it and some of you did not. I do not know what I did, but I will resend it to you. So kudos to those of you that didn't get it and you're on here. Like I'm super impressed about that. Okay. Any other questions? You can type them now. I have a chat box open. I can see it. Routines that we do in the show, it will completely depend on what the makeup of the group is. The last time we went, we had 8 more girls than boys that went. And so we did one number that was an all girls number just to make those numbers work out, and have no idea what the ratio will be this time. So we just make it work with whatever that ratio will be. We need to have a 20-minute program prepared. So we'll do 20 minutes worth of routines, which is usually about 5 routines that we try and do. Coaching, to be determined. Ashley right now would like to be the coach. Just kind of dibs coaching. We've talked to her about that, but I'm just going to say this, she's not on here, so it's between you and me. She will probably be married before we go on this trip, and her future husband is planning to do summer sales next year. So it has not worked out if she will go with him to do summer sales. If she does, then she obviously won't be coaching.
Sure.
We have lots of available coaches just in our kids. Sam and Sarah will be here all summer, and Heidi and Pono will most likely be back in Rexburg as well too. So we will just kind of work that out. It will be, so I'll just say it will be one of our kids. It'll be Ashley or Sam and Sarah or Heidi and Pono, or maybe a combination of them doing it together, or doing different teams. If we have enough to split up in kind of like different teams, then we would coach different teams.
Is your microphone muted?
I don't know how to see it.
Oh, that's not a question. I'm trying to understand if I'm supposed to understand a question, but I don't think that is.
How do I mute my microphone?
Oh, is that you, Janet?
Oh, yes.
Okay, if you think of any other questions that, later in the middle of the night, if you're like me, you at 4 a.m., you always wake up with whatever your brain is working on. Text me and it may be a good question for everybody. I will send that out in the follow-up email. If there's something that you think of and come up with. And I think that's it. So thanks for joining, especially on super last minute notice. If you didn't know about it from a newsletter, I'll send the newsletter, I'll send a follow-up email, and you have until November 15th to decide about going and to make the deposit payment. In the follow-up email to this, I will send the sign up thing, the job form sign up with that. And so you've got all month to do that sign up with the deposit. And I think that's it. So thanks, everybody. I'm really excited and really hopeful. Like if we all hope, cross our fingers, we've learned that now no one can predict what's going to happen next summer. I used to the first year I was like, of course we're going. Of course we're going. And now we hope to go. We hope to go. I think there's just enough uncertainty that we can't say for sure that we will go, but we hope to go. So thanks again, y'all. And I'm excited about possibly going to Europe, and I'll send you all the information and send me any additional questions that you have. Thank you.